All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a truly silent killer. We're talking about a single-celled parasite that's responsible for one of the most serious parasitic diseases out there, visceral leishmaniasis, also known as black fever. It's a tiny predator with a massive global footprint. And its story, well, it's way more fascinating and, frankly, more frightening than you might think.
So, here's a head-scratcher for you. Black fever is a classic tropical disease. So, what in the world is it doing showing up in a temperate place like the Netherlands? The answer to that question really gets to the heart of what it means to live in our modern, interconnected world and the challenges we face in global health.
And look at this data. Between 2005 and 2012, doctors in the Netherlands diagnosed almost 200 cases of leishmaniasis. Now, most of these were the kind that affect the skin, but you'll see there were 8 cases of the really severe visceral form, the one caused by the Leishmania donovani complex. And every single one of those cases was picked up by travelers in southern Europe. So the key takeaway here is that the disease isn't spreading in the Netherlands, but it is absolutely arriving at the Netherlands.
So how are we going to break this all down? Well, first, we'll look at how a tropical disease even gets to Europe. Then, we'll properly meet the parasite itself, Leishmania donovani. After that, we'll untangle its really complex life cycle, understand the devastating disease it causes, see how doctors actually find this hidden invader, and finally, we'll explore the global fight to treat it.
Okay, first things first. How does a microscopic parasite that relies on a tiny insect from warm climates manage to pop up in European hospitals?
The whole operation, the entire life cycle of this parasite, hinges on one specific insect, the Phlopotomene sandfly. And that little fly just can't hack it in the Dutch climate. So what that means is every single case you see in the Netherlands is what we call an imported disease. It's basically a microscopic stowaway, brought back by travelers, migrants, or even soldiers returning from duty.
All right, now let's properly meet the mastermind behind this whole situation, Leishmania donovani.
So this thing isn't a bacterium, and it's not a virus. Leishmania donovani is a protozoan, which just means it's a complex, single-celled organism. But here's the really important part. It's an obligate intracellular endoparasite. Now, that's a mouthful, but all it means is that it has to live inside the cells of its host to survive and make copies of itself. It's a true master of cellular hijacking.
And this is its full scientific address, you could say. You can see it goes from the very broad domain Eukaryota all the way down to the specific species Leishmania donovani. And this kind of precision isn't just for academics, you know. It's absolutely crucial for scientists who are trying to develop drugs that can target this specific organism without harming us, its human host.
Now we get to what is, for me, the most incredible part of its story, its life cycle. See, this parasite doesn't just infect one thing. It has engineered this elaborate, 2-act play that requires both an insect and a mammal to pull off.
This whole journey is what scientists call a digenetic life cycle. Digenetic just means it needs to live in 2 completely different hosts to survive. It is an absolute masterpiece of evolutionary adaptation, a really intricate dance between an insect and a mammal.
So Act 1 kicks off when a female sandfly takes a blood meal from an infected person. It sucks up these immune cells called macrophages, which are just stuffed with the parasite in its dormant, non-moving form, which we call mastigotes. Inside the fly's gut, these little mastigotes transform. They grow a long tail, a flagellum, and become these mobile promastigotes. They multiply like crazy, and then they all migrate up to the fly's mouth parts, basically getting into position for the next bite. And that bite is the start of Act 2. The infected sandfly injects those mobile promastigotes into a new human host. Right away, our immune cells, those same macrophages, rush to the site to gobble up the invaders and destroy them. But here's the twist. This is a trap. This is exactly what the parasite wanted to happen. Once it's safely inside the macrophage, it changes back into that non-moving amastigote form, hijacks the cell's internal machinery, and turns it into a parasite factory, replicating over and over until the cell literally bursts, unleashing a brand new army to infect more cells.
So you end up with these 2 totally distinct forms of the same parasite. You've got the promastigote, which is the traveler, the infective stage that lives in the sandfly. And then you have the amastigote, the hijacker, the reproductive stage inside our cells that actually causes the disease. 2 forms, 2 different hosts, one incredibly successful parasite. So this systematic cellular invasion, this is what leads directly to the disease itself, visceral leishmaniasis.
And it's often called a silent killer because its symptoms can be really slow to develop, and honestly, they can be easily mistaken for a lot of other illnesses.
Yeah, unlike its relatives that just cause skin sores, Leishmania donovani goes systemic. It spreads throughout the body, and this causes a classic trio of symptoms: a long-lasting on and off fever, serious weight loss, and a massive swelling of the spleen and liver. The parasite also gets into the bone marrow, causing something called pancytopenia, which means you get dangerously low counts of red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. It's a total shutdown.
You know what? The disease actually got its historical name, Kala Azar, which is Hindi for black fever, from one of its more striking signs. In some patients, especially on the Indian subcontinent, their skin can develop this grayish, dark discoloration. It's a visible mark of this incredibly deep systemic infection.
So, given how masterful this parasite is at hiding inside our own immune cells, how on earth can doctors find it to make a definitive diagnosis?
Well, it turns out there's a real trade-off in how you hunt for this parasite. The absolute gold standard is looking at a tissue sample from the spleen under a microscope. It's incredibly accurate, but it's also pretty risky for the patient. Out in the field, a much safer and faster way is the RK39 rapid test. It's just a simple finger prick, gives you an answer in 15 minutes, but it's not always reliable in every region. Then, in a high-tech place like the Netherlands, the standard is PCR, a super-sensitive molecular test that can find the parasite's DNA from a simple blood sample.
Okay, so once the parasite is found, the real fight begins. But the weapons that doctors use in that fight, they depend entirely on where in the world you happen to be.
And this really shows you the stark reality of the global health divide. In the Netherlands, they can use PCR to identify the exact species, and the go-to treatment is a powerful, effective drug called liposomal amphotericin B. But in many parts of the world where this disease is common, doctors have to rely on clinical signs and use an older arsenal of drugs. And on top of that, they're battling huge challenges like drug resistance and just getting access to the medicine in the first place.
Ultimately, Leishmania donovani is a powerful reminder that in our world, diseases don't carry passports. A sandfly bite on one continent can turn into a complex, life-threatening medical case on another. The fight against these ancient parasites isn't just one country's problem. It's truly a shared global responsibility.
And just so you know, all of this information was compiled using a Gemini deep search. If you'd like to dive even deeper, a detailed list of all our sources is available in the linked Notebook LM document.
We really hope this explainer has helped unmask this incredible parasite for you. Please subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the science that's shaping our world. And of course, we'd love to hear from you, so be sure to leave your questions and any feedback you have in the comments below. Thanks for watching.